Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. There I am. Okay, today once again addressing our COVID-19. I'll start off with Facebook today. There I am, Amir Bathi. This is from a NBC post where they once again they're touting the hundreds, thousands per day that are dying. I've already shared with you guys my position on this. I have begrudgingly uh, dropped anchor in the hoax camp. Um, I didn't want to be one of the hoax believers, people who believe that it's a hoax. Um, I wanted to believe in the medical community. I wanted to believe corporate media's accounting of everything. Unfortunately, neither corporate media or the medical community has given me adequate proof that the numbers are equal to what they are reporting. Here, once again, I'm saying, then prove it. Show us the. Hold on, if I gotta read words, let me get my glasses on. There we go. Then prove it. Show us the bodies. It is indeed correct. Yesterday, Governor Cuomo, New York State, they are reporting that 777 people died in a 24-hour period. That is a fantastic amount of people. Okay, get the halls. It's a fantastic amount of people. I want to believe that that is true. And once again, I am cordially inviting uh, Governor Cuomo, corporate media, uh, to prove that. Please, by all means, prove it. Yeah, the GIF thing. I swear to God, these people who think that they are adults, apparently all they can do is just simply, you know, um, this is. I don't click on them. Um, I'm an adult. I express myself with words. I expect you to do the same. You're welcome to disagree with me, but could you just please be adult? The response is the reason why I'm taking you here, let me move my selfie circle over. What I am, it's just, it's sobering. It is. It's frightening. It causes me quite a bit of fear that so many people would really and truly just surrender their rights, and nobody has given you proof, and you're okay with this. Really? Um, what a moron, what a moron. Seek help. I'm asking for the government to validate their numbers, not my numbers, their numbers. It's not like I'm some wackadoo guy who has come to this conclusion on his own that, there should be hundreds or thousands of people dying from your alleged pandemic. I'm not the one who came up with those numbers. You are. And if you're going to be suspending constitutional rights, then it is very much indeed incumbent upon you to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this kind of draconian police state tactics are what's called for. I'm sorry, just rattling off numbers on your daily press briefings, that is not adequate proof. I'll talk more about that in a moment. Um, Come up here. Okay, yeah, David Lindquist. I'll just kind of scroll slowly here so you guys can pause and read at your own leisure. His reply to me, I guess he said because I'm asking for people to please use words and not silly ass animated gifs to tell me what you actually mean. I don't know if this is a cut and paste job of his or if he actually took the time to write it. Either way, at least he did use words. One thing I find interesting here, he talks about Dr. Deborah Bricks. They're questioning They're questioning, if someone dies, containing the death. Basically, they want to know, how are you counting these people's deaths? Um, and yeah, we hear, they are admitting it. They are basically in this thing that David wrote. They are admitting that people who have whatever issue that actually brought them to the hospital. I'm trying very hard not to subscribe to a belief that they would deliberately, maybe not infect a living person, but infect a corpse with COVID-19 just to count it. I'll talk more about that in a minute as to their reasons as to why they would want false positives. So just go ahead here, and basically, David is basically admitting that people who come in with for reason A, if they test positive, then yes, we will count them as a COVID death, even though, who are we kidding? COVID didn't take you to the grave. I did my best to address this. Of course, there I am saying you guys are just going to surrender late on your constitutional rights. I replied to David here, you know, yes, guys, I am here to report. The old man, he passed away, a few months ago, actually. And one of the questions, not questions, but one of our discussions that we had. I don't know how many of you guys are out there with your dreading hitting the 40-year benchmark, 50-year benchmark, and dreading the doctor's finger up your ass. But he actually told me something that could quite possibly be even more fear invoking. Not so much fear invoking, but it brings you to terms with your own mortality. The day that he went for his annual physical, and he goes to assume the position to get the old finger. This is like a long time ago, back when he was in his 70s, and the doctor told him, there's no need for that anymore. And I tell David exactly why. Um, the treatments for these cancers are so very aggressive that you would never survive it at your age. Now, this might change as cancer treatments progress and become more advanced, hopefully, Um, but, what are you going to say? I also had another buddy. He has prostatitis, really bad, and he has to go get his ass worked on or whatever they do when they're in there. And he was explaining to me that all men have a type of antigen, PSA, shows up in the blood work. Basically, what his urologist explained to him, which he then explained to me, is that just about every man dies with prostate cancer. It's just a matter of in what stage that it was in. Meaning that as we men get toward the end of our life, when we get into our 70s, 80s, 90s, the antigens start to bud and turn cancerous more by more. Now, obviously, some of these free radicals will activate decades earlier, much more earlier than they're supposed to, which is why you have certain men that come down with prostate cancer in their 40s, 50s, some even in their 30s. So did the old man die from prostate cancer, or did he just die from old age? Again, did these people die? The 18,000, how many of them actually died? And I'm sure there are a substantial amount of them that died from, basically drowning in your own lung fluid. I'm sure there are. I'm not trying to be delusional or disrespectful or anything like that. However, it is indeed a real concern that we can no longer trust our medical community. Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? And it is sad. We can't trust any of these people, especially with I mean, my God, look, these guys, they just anything that doesn't jive with their political allegiance, then you are instantaneously relegated to troll and a person that does not exist. Um, so yeah, so there you go. Um, let's see here. Is there? Let me see here. Zip it on up here. I think I wanted to show you. Like this is the story, the NBC News story. I think there were some other. I know. What was this? And the Siegelman. Once again, I am asking for NBC to do it. I'm a fake account. I'm a sociopath. Another GIF because, these people are not adult enough to speak for themselves. Take your meds. Shut the fuck up. What can I say? And there you go. Show me. If you're saying hundreds per day died, then the bodies being loaded into the truck, it would be quite the parade. Okay? Did I say that in this one? I think I may have said it in another one, but the point is that we did see, what was it? It kind of makes you wonder, who's watching my channel. After I posted the drone footage of Johnny Perez, and all of a sudden we got drone footage of dead bodies being buried on Hart Island in New York. By that trench that I saw, doing a rough estimate, I will estimate on in the state's favor, although you can't really say it the state's favorable that more people died, but you get what I'm saying. I'd say that trench could probably hold about 100 of those alleged caskets. About 100 maybe. The digging would be night and day. The caravan of those trucks would be night and day. Just on your one day death count of 777. And this has been going on for weeks and months. Okay? Can you show me another trench? Show me some more freshly dug earth. Okay? All right, I'm come out of Facebook here. Because I basically whoops. There we are. I didn't really want to go too heavy into the whole YouTube thing. Governor Murphy's press conference, I took some notes. Governor Murphy is becoming quite the dictator, rolling out his executive orders left and right. And again, there's no proof. There's no bodies. There's no nothing. There's just what we tell you, and you're gonna believe it. All right. Let me check my time. Check my timer. All right, 14. Let's let's get into this. C-19. Yes, our elective procedures at hospitals. Again, if you guys remember, elective procedures, they were canceled. Okay. Elective procedures are hospitals' bread and butter. It's why they were freaking the hell out so bad when these procedures were canceled. However, okay, I think I was reading another poster, and what did they say? Yeah, he said that the deaths, the hospitals, they get money for the deaths. And then I put it together from there that's right. They canceled the elective procedures. That's a massive amount of revenue from our hospitals, who are owned and controlled by who? I'll just leave that to your own reconnoitering. and therefore they can recoup, if not only their losses, but probably reap an even more heftier thing with basically if they can slap a C-19 on your toe tag. Okay, remember now, thousands of people die per day in America. Thousands. Okay, uh, it's going to happen long before COVID-19. It's going to happen next year, and on and on and on. Nothing is new. Thousands of people are born, thousands of people die. Some die earlier than others. You got babies out there that, sadly only lived a few hours before they passed away. It happens. Don't make me break into Elton John here. Circle of life, like the wheel affords you. And yes, some do have to live with the scars. Uh, Alibaba, I wanted to talk about this from Governor Cuomo's press conferences. Um, I would hear him shout out Alibaba. Alibaba, huh? Who is Alibaba? And believe it or not, it wasn't until I did a little digging into something. I mean, I've been digging into the whole Mark of the Beast thing and what the Bible has to say about it and what theologians believe about it. And from there, I put together my own train of thought. Nobody's spoon feeding me information, but I do put together my own thought, my own premise. However, one of the things that he did point out was that it is part of one of the, because there are many signs that come along with the whole Mark of the Beast, how the Mark of the Beast will be ushered in, how it will be implemented. One such way is a cashless society. Remember, you won't be able to buy, trade, or sell. And the way that's going to be done is that cash is going to be eliminated. Um, Even before C-19 rolled onto the scene, I had concerns over digital cryptocurrency, your bitcoins, and whatever else they're calling themselves. New Jersey has a law. I'm about to make a prediction here. New Jersey has a law that forbids retail establishments from eliminating cash, meaning when Walmart was 24 hours, um, they had to at least have one register open that could accept a cash transaction. Mark my words, that's going to be one of Governor Murphy's latest. That's going to be one of Governor Murphy's latest executive orders, repealing that law. He's already been questioned in his press briefings as to how legal all these executive orders are of his, because it's being rolled out without legislation. Okay? Um, Alibaba is a company that facilitates cashless transactions. Check them out. Como's been shouting them out. Now you got Murphy shouting them out. It's the next step toward Mark of the Beast, apocalypse, doomsday. I know how I sound. Oh my god. Um, Mask with no ability to stop the spread. Yes, the mask. The Mark of the Beast is said to be placed on your hand or your head, and the mask is right here. See? It's only a couple of inches away from your forehead. You're being conditioned. You are a lab rat. You're being trained and conditioned on things to accept. Okay? We're going to get you conditioned for things being on your face. And once that's been done, then will come the next phase. We're going to do something that gets... You're going to have to be watchful, people. The medical community, will they lie to you? Yes, the medical community will lie to you. I've already spoken about this. Um, when I had my surgery, bimalar ankle fracture with internal fixation, my surgeon, Dr. Joseph Daniels from the Rothman Institute, he was quite adamant about not performing an MRI on my leg to see the scope of the damage. He only wanted x-rays, which of course shows no soft tissue damage. I was lied to by Dr. Daniels and led to believe that it is not possible to have an MRI on the part of your body that has metal in it, such as the titanium buttress plates and screws that are in my leg. This turned out to be a lie, just a bold-faced lie. That not a coloring, not a stretching, just simply a bold-faced lie. Um, and to save on time, I went out of state, doctor. Eventually, I get the MRI, and as I go for my MRI, I'm explaining to them because they got me all scared, like, oh my god, they cut the magnet on, they're gonna fucking rip the metal out of my goddamn leg, and I'm letting them know, okay, you understand there's metal in there, right? They're like, yeah, sure it is. They're looking at me and wondering, why are you freaking out? What is. It's as if somebody from Chuck Wagon, horse, buggy days were to be told that you can't drive your car in the winter or during a cold rain, a modern car, because you will fog up the windows and you will not be able to see where you're going, because that's what was lied to me and told to me, that the metal in my leg will distort the images that are rendered in the MRI. It's like lying to somebody 100, 200, 150 years ago, telling them, you can't ride in this car, and the body heat, you'll fog the windows of this, that. And of course, all you have to do is cut on your defrost, and that completely eliminates that, which is exactly what our MRI technicians had to do. They just simply had to set the controls for the MRI machine to accommodate for, metal, the titanium being there. And I asked, that when I later spoke with the doctor himself who reviews it, I was like, were you able to see because of the metal, and did it distort the picture? He's like, no, we got great pictures. These pictures came out great. I was lied to. I was lied to by a doctor, a medical doctor with a PhD. Okay? And it's bracing, it's sobering, it takes you back. You want to put so much belief into these people, into these physicians. We trust them with our lives. But when they have a vested interest, your medical care will take a back seat to that vested interest. Um, we spoke about the old man. What did he die from? Did he die from? No, he didn't die from prostate cancer. He was 91 when he finally passed away. He passed away on New Year's Day. I really did love that old man. He was like a father to me. Anyway, I wish my own father could have been a bit more like him. We already covered our Facebook comments. Finding mainstay items, price hikes. Are we? I was just getting ready to tweak my orientation. Are we moving to a communist society? finding things in stores. As I was in the stores, and here we are, we should be well enough along now where things are back on the shelves. Um, it shouldn't be this hard. The shelves shouldn't be as empty as they are. Um, and it begins to make me think of places like communist Russia, and over there, there's a lot of, I think they sometimes you see people making jokes about all they have to eat are potatoes, and things are very expensive over there, very expensive. Keep an eye on my time. Things are pretty expensive. Um, I'm just making mental notes of things. There are no sales circulars coming in the mailbox. You're just simply going to pay retail. Okay? I think I spent $20 on 12 rolls of paper towel when I came back from the market. Each 6 pack was $10. That's ridiculous. That should not be that high. Um, they should be more like 8, 7, somewhere between $7 and $8. There's zero incentive to entice people into stores, and we are being price hiked and price gouged. Um, in Phil Murphy's, I won't take you over there, but Phil Murphy's press conference, we had our commissioner Judy Penarello, whatever the fuck her name is, Persakowski, whatever, commissioner of health. Now we're talking about, remember now, this Easter week was supposed to be the big peak. This is the big crescendo, people. This is the big climax. This is the, I'm gonna do it. This is the money shot. This is not the money shot. Now we're being told in another 2 to 3 weeks, that's when we're gonna peak. So this big money shot peak, it's constantly being kicked down the road so that the governor can retain his dictatorship over the state. That's what we're doing. He doesn't want to surrender all of his wonderful executive orders that he's implementing, like making people wear face masks that have no medical application whatsoever. Why are the homeless not affected more? I was waiting to see if they were going to hijack the homeless and entice them into the hospitals and things. Remember now, we're the ones supposed to be on the street. What was it? Dr. Drew was out there. Oh, it's typhoid Mary. Here comes the plague and the bubonic this and the typhoid that. And suddenly that just disappeared. I mean, you would have thought, oh, nasty, filthy homeless people like us would be the ones who would be dying by the hundreds, right? Huh. Strange how it never happened, really. Not saying that there weren't any homeless people that didn't fall casualty to it. Then again, homeless people die every year. Nobody ever pays attention to it. It's an annual thing. Kind of makes you wonder why they didn't really want to pay attention to it this year. Pick and choose. Why are the homeless not more affected? Medical doctors of old, protocols, they would scoff at Fauci. What's my time here? 29. Medical doctors of old. When we talk about doctors playing fast and loose with medical protocols and things like that, they really are. The next time millions of your urinalysis tests are performed, maybe even every day. I mean, my God. And technicians do them. Very basic $10 an hour technicians process the urinalysis. It's pretty simple. unless there is something like super fancy that would have to be done. The history of the urinalysis. Our first urinalysis, I remember as a little boy, I was watching Ripley's Believe It or Not, and doctors in there, we're talking about the proto doctor studies, medical studies. Something as simple as when their patients were ailing from whatever it may be, blood, urine, stool, all of it as they're studying it. The Ripley's Believe It or Not segment, they talked about how, they take the urinalysis under microscopes. They're you'd have to Google what an ancient. Sometimes they're like a series of magnifying glasses and stuff like that. So they're looking at your urine and they're making notes. They're smelling your urine and they're making notes. They'll touch and tactile feel your urine and they're making notes. And because these doctors were so desperate to have an understanding as to how the human body works and what affects the human body, what causes the human body to stop working, okay? This is during a period of medical science where it was the doctors who paid grave diggers to bring them corpses and things. Doctors would pay you, a living human being, can I please study you? Here we are today, a couple hundred years later and shit, we got to pay them all this money anyway. And yes, the fifth and final, actually fourth, they don't really listen to your urine, but you get what I'm saying. The final sense, they would taste your urine because they were desperate to understand what was going on. With such, and of course, everything had to be meticulously documented. If Fauci were to be transplanted 150 years into the past, and there he is with his New York casual, well, yeah, are we going to count it as a corona death? Well, I mean, we can if we want to. I guess they had it. Those doctors in their white lab clothes that would button up on the side and shit, they would scoff at Fauci. How dare you? You're from the future? What? Is this what happens to future medicine? Where shit can just simply be, what's it gonna be? Is it this? Is it that? I don't know. Who's writing the check? Who's paying me? I don't know. I'll tell you. Who's paying me? And of course, we've discussed how doctors' opinions can be greatly affected. I'll wrap up here with affluenzatine. Who remembers affluenzatine? A medical doctor takes to the stand. My client was simply too rich to be held culpable. They're too rich. I will close with this. Oh no, with a couple of things. Hart Island Cemetery. Okay. At first I began to wonder, would people storm these trucks? Guns, driver, get out, open the back, crowbar open the caskets. Are people really in there? That's one low-tech, heavy-handed way of getting your question answered. Another would be, which might even be very much indeed legal and perfectly fine, to go there with either X-ray or ground sonar. And sonar the ground to see if there's actually anybody in those boxes that they're burying and exactly how many there are. You couldn't possibly object to ground sonar. It doesn't disturb your alleged body, so why not? If anybody out there with a ground sonar, go pay Hart Island a visit. I'd be interested to know. Apple, Google, team up. Police state mass surveillance. I can't begin to blow the alarm on this loud and hard enough. And when you go to read the article, I'll see if I can find it and link it down below. when you go to read the article, the intimate details also involve your bank. This has to do with your medical diagnosis. Once they get your forced medical diagnosis, forced medical tests, who has antibodies, who's positive, who's negative. And of course, it's all junk science because we all have, just about everybody has antibodies to coronaviruses. There are multiple coronaviruses. Again, medical science will lie to you, telling you, your antibodies. Yes, it's for the great COVID-19. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Google and Apple, they're now going to be rolling out software which you won't have any choice over. They're going to force it on you if you want to use their phones. They're going to forcibly acquire your status, like an HIV. Could you imagine this being done about what HIV 30 years ago? We're going to let the government and everybody, and if it is believed that you are positive and putting the health of the public at risk, they're going to be Nazi stormtroopers, state police, going to storm to your location, and they're going to arrest you, and they are going to force you into like a jail. It's basically a jail cell. They're going to call it whatever kind of quarantine, whatever language they're going to want to use. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen. This thing is moving fast. It is moving very fast. You got Apple and Google teaming up. Hey, you guys remember when I said a few videos ago that the big tech Silicon Valley were going to be joining hands and coming out the mass surveillance closet together? I predicted this shit would happen. Okay? I'm not talking out of my ass here. This shit is happening. Like I said, mark my words, keep your eye on Phil Murphy, his executive order rolling back cash. He's going to make it so that a business doesn't have to keep a cash till open. Because after all, cash, it's so filthy. That'll be the pretext that he uses to make cash illegal. And you will have to be confined, and not to mention the fact the billions and trillions of dollars that they're generating. Everybody knows that there's no gold backing it at the Treasury. They're just basically printing money at this point. They're just printing more and more money. There's a lot more I could say on that. All right, I'm about to hit 38. That's it, guys. Be watchful. They are coming for you. We are falling into a police state. Total Control 871.